answers to my prayer and my pain point. Listen, we've done 2 events, one live, one virtual with Gain the Edge. And I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous bringing an outside team in. I was wondering if they're gonna treat my audience the way I treat my audience. And to say the least, I was extremely impressed with Gain the Edge, and they hit it out of the park. Our first event we closed 90% of the room. We only had 45 people in the room. We had $500,000 in sales. Amazing. And then pandemic hit. Everyone had to shift from live events to virtual events. Now I knew I've been doing live events for years, so I knew I could do that. Virtual events, my closing ratio not so high. So to say the least, I was nervous. But I was just counting on me. I wasn't looking at my team. I wasn't looking at the beasts that I brought in to support me. So I just want to share, we had 122 people live. I know that doesn't sound a lot, but you need the right people. You don't need a lot of people. We had 55 qualified people there to purchase, and we closed nearly $700,000. So I'm very excited to recommend my good friends. They're in alignment with your culture, with your team. They bring systems. I'm a systems girl. You got to come pack in. And so I'm proud to recommend them. I'm Susie Carter. I'm a profit coach, and I've been in this industry for 30 years. And so I know the real deal when I see the real deal, right? I'm just not a Joe in a diner shop. So I'm recommending my friends Jim and Cindy Padilla, and every team member that they bring to me is world class. So trust them. Surrender, because that's what I had to do. I'm a little bit of a control freak. I don't know if you're like me. Surrender and let them help you explode your sales. You do you, let them do them, and create a dynamite relationship.
You know, what I'm noticing, and I'm guessing this isn't such a big surprise for you as we continue to work together, is that the more I kind of lean on the resources that you're offering, the resources that you are, you know, the more I kind of get that I get to now be me. It means shifting from all the all the meddling work that I've done to, you know, all the small and crazy stuff I've done in my life just to position myself to be even visible, let alone delivering a product that's consistent with who I am, right? So now that I get to be a little more confident day to day that this is really going to occur, what I'm noticing is a shift in who I thought I was, you know, like there's a new clarity in who I now get to be that wasn't really available when I was struggling and fighting just to, you know, keep my head above water, like an opportunity to readjust to, you know, a natural opportunity to readjust who I am and the offer associated with. It's disorienting in some ways, and in other ways, it's like, here's an opportunity to grow into the man I am here to be. And I want to thank you for that, and also tell, you know, people who are considering or about to sign up working with you that, you know, each time I run into you, it's like a greater confidence that I get to now be that man who I came here to be, because you're going to take care of all the stuff that I've been struggling to popsicle stick together in order to make work up until now. And naturally, my offer and who I get to be in the world has become more clear.
Without Jim and Cindy's guidance, I would be making a lot of big mistakes, a lot of expensive, timely mistakes, and I'd be spinning my wheels. And so here, they've done this before, they've scaled businesses before, and I just trust them. And so when I'm listening to them, they've helped me to come into my big vision, and it lights me up. I'm here to change the way the world communicates, and I didn't have that before. And so now I'm able to claim that, step into that, and then know that even if I don't have all the answers, that it is possible, and I feel that with every fiber of my beingness, and I didn't have that before this retreat, so I'm so thankful.
What happened was he talked to me about my business and how I could integrate the spa and along with my online business. I've been told for a decade now that I have to choose, and they integrate so well together. I was finally heard, and I knew at this moment that I had to do something a whole lot more with them than just this one little piece that I don't even know how I went to it. That's a whole other story. It was so awesome I had to come back.
I was really looking for clarity on my bigger vision and my bigger why. I had a really strong internal why, but really needed to get clarity and refine my external why. And going through the Business Breakthrough Retreat, it really gave me that clarity and focus that I was seeking, and really helped me build that foundation upon which we can create that 10x breakthrough in this coming year?
Well, I've been a business coach and mentor for over 35 years, and I participated in many different programs. I've been a coach for other programs, and I will tell you that this program is one of the best ever. From other really well-known business coaching programs to brand new ones that are the latest cat's meow. Jim and Cindy have put together a program that's born out of the realities of building a business from ground up to success. You can't get better than being here.
When we met the amazing team at Gain the Edge, we were in a sweet spot. We were in a good place in our business. However, we knew we had more potential. And we had an upcoming event, and one of my business coaches and mentors, Dan Cashel, suggested that we bring on a sales team. And so we interviewed a few different teams, and immediately I knew there was a connection there. And I realized how willing you were to kind of help us with our upcoming event, how quickly the team jumped up and raised their hand and said they wanted to support this event. And what we realized was our best event ever. We had over 7 figures in sales. We had an amazing support system. I know there's no way on earth I could have done that on my own that quickly. And it was almost seamless for me. It was so beautiful to know that people were making a good decision and working with us, and that the team was there answering their questions, supporting them, making sure that they were a good fit, and onboarding them into our community. And since then, we've had continuous sales coming in. The team continues to follow up with people, continues to support me, which has been fantastic. We're creating lots of great content. We're supporting our incubator community of prospective clients. We're putting out so much more valuable nuggets of information out there than we ever were before. And I can only see this getting better and better. So I'm excited for all the future growth as well.
I've always been.
All right. What is up, people? There's a problem in the marketplace, and you might be experiencing it yourself. The reality that most people don't realize that your sales process could be the very thing that is costing you sales. Not you, your process, right? You're doing calls, or your team is making calls. You're having great conversations, and people even say that they're in, but then they ghost you, or they don't show up for calls. They delay, they disappear. Am I talking to anybody? Anybody experience this on any level? Right? The worst part is that you're blaming yourself. You're blaming your offer. You're blaming your business, your avatar, and your delivery. And the truth is, more often than not, there's something broken in the process. So that you blame a part of your offer, part of your business that isn't actually at fault, and then you start going about fixing something that probably could use improvement, but maybe wasn't broken in the first place. And then you just tweak it into ineffectiveness, and then you just keep moving the process. So what if I told you that that's not what you need to be doing? If your offer might not be broken, it might be the structure. It might be a simple adjustment. And we've all heard the term that the smallest hinges open the biggest doors. And I don't know about the truth of that in general, but I understand the metaphor, right? Small hinges move big doors. Small improvements make big changes. And there's something we're going to hit on today that is going to highlight this for you. So what I'm going to show you is what we call a 3-step advantage, and why the one piece we're going to identify is going to illuminate and put you in a position to see something very clear that can make a powerful difference in what you're doing, how you're showing up in your sales process, and what's going on, so that you can stop being a product in search of a prospect, stop pitching buyers, right? Stop pitching and start positioning, and stop chasing and start closing with confidence, right? Start setting up people to want to come closer to you every step of the way to do more with you. Right? And if you stop winging your sales calls, which is what most of us are doing, start enrolling the right people the right way, this is the framework that you're missing. So one piece here. Whether or not you have it, I guarantee you this is a way to look at it differently, and will optimize how you're engaging people in your conversations and what you do. So welcome to the 3-step sales advantage. And we're going to break some things down here. And why does this even matter? Let me show you what's actually going on. First of all, Jim and Cindy Padilla here with Gain the Edge, and we have been blessed to be a go-to sales solution for much of the who's who in the expert and influencer service space. And we've been able to deliver over $500 million worth of sales results. And the only reason I share that with you is that you understand I'm not guessing. I'm not talking to you from theory or philosophy. I'm telling you what we've done and the results that we've seen from it. Time in and time out. And the only thing we're doing right now is getting better at it. So we're just going to break down some of the things that we have seen and do it in a way that is going to be simple, clear, easy to understand, easy to execute, and show you a way that can turn up the dial on your effectiveness with the sales opportunities that you're having. Am I in the right place? Am I talking to the right people? All right. I'm guessing that we all need that, which is a big part of the reason why you're here. I got multiple windows open, so bear with me as I'm rolling through here. All right. So the thing that makes this effective, I'm going to show you. We have a framework that we call the P7 framework, and that's not it. I'm one page too far. There we go. Okay, so this is our P7 framework to profit and freedom, and the reason this came into play is that people have been coming to us for over a decade saying, I need sales teams, I need salespeople, I need to make more sales, and often, not often, all the time. I have a tough time saying all the time because it sounds silly because almost nothing is always or never. However, we have never seen a company at any level, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, that actually has all of their processes and frameworks, strategies, and offers all dialed in. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming that's because somebody's a big company that they're doing things right. They're doing what was worked for them. It doesn't mean it's the best way by any chance. And what happened is every time they would bring us in, we would come in and all of a sudden we had a lot of scope creep. We started having to install systems and strategies and frameworks and offers and pipelines and more and more. And over a decade, we started accumulating over $500,000. I mean, excuse me, $500,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tools, templates, strategies, resources, things that make people effective. Our whole mission is to make it easy so that salespeople can do their job effectively. And that's where everything that we create was born from that. Is how do we make sure that salespeople have everything they need to sell every day? And so all the stuff that we've created is a byproduct of that, and that's what I'm going to share with you today and show you. Can I get by? Make sure I got. Here we go. All right, finally got the right screen on. So what was happened is everything of this vault of information and data and tools and resources we've been shaping into what we are now calling the P7 framework to profit and freedom. This is all the things in place that we install into companies to deliver profit and freedom, to deliver a business that is designed to generate revenue and deliver wealth and freedom to you. Okay. And the P7 framework is essentially the right pitch, right? The right plan, the right path, the right positioning, the right pipeline, the right people, and the right process. And it's actually the right processes, because our peak performance process is the process, but it is a system of processes, is a collection of processes that when they're all installed and working together, that your conversion rates go through the roof, get exponential. So instead of converting at 10%, like a lot of people do, 20%, or what the expectation is for a lot of sales teams in the marketplace is to be able to produce 1 out of 5, which is a 20% conversion rate, which is seen as good today. And I'm not okay with that, especially when we've got campaigns that are performing at 39%, 43%, 53%, 61%, and more. So we want everybody performing at that level. And when you implement all the right systems and structures to make it go, that becomes the outcome. So in this quick training today around the 3-step close advantage, that is one of our processes. So we're going to be highlighting that piece today. And so we're just going to dive into this 3-step sales advantage and highlight a piece, one of the small systems processes inside of this engine that is going to illuminate some things for you and make it easier for you to qualify people, have better, more clarifying conversations. things for you and make it easier for you to qualify people, have better, more clarifying conversations that will move the needle and make a massive difference for people. So make sure I got the right screen on there. Yes, we do. All right. So let me get on here. I want to make sure you all can see me so I can see you. I like that. There we go. Hi, I'm here. So I'm going to be back and forth between this slide deck and my handy dandy whiteboard because I like to draw. Okay, and I want to show you some stuff. So there's something that I want you to think about, and we're calling it the sales resistance curve. This is something that we see a ton. Anybody ever heard of a one call close? Type one call close in the chat, and type one call close, and then I want you to type in the chat. It's a myth. The one call close myth. Right, everybody, this is like the elusive unicorn that everybody seems to keep chasing. Everybody thinks, I'm gonna get me a one call close and I should be closing calls. Or they judge yourself, right? Have you ever judged yourself because you're not converting on one call? Right, like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? How come I'm no good at this? Okay? But the reality is pretty simple, that it's an easy thing to overlook, especially if it's not something that you deal with on a daily basis. But if you look at this chart here, right, going up is time, right? Time and call sequence. The amount of time somebody's in your world. And there's a direct correlation to how well people will trust you, how much trust you're going to earn and gain from people, right? And what happens in a one call close, first of all, it's not a real thing. Very, very, very rarely does somebody first think of a problem, experience a problem, think of it today, and then the right person calls them at the right time. They've already experienced the problem, understand the consequence of not solving it, and have a commitment to wanting to do something about it, and then voila, you show up there. That is such a rare occurrence, right? It's almost never a thing. What actually happens is they've been dealing with it for a long time, maybe dealing with some of your competitors, engaging, and then all of a sudden you happen to show up. So it feels like a one call close, although to them, this has been a journey, all right? So it doesn't actually happen that way. And one call closes typically are 10% or less of your overall total addressable market. And here's a simple piece that might break your ego. However, if you're converting anywhere near 10%, I'm going to potentially make a case for you that all you're doing is order taking, because 10% of your sales we're going to buy anyway. All you had to do was not shoot yourself in the foot when the process showed up, which means there's a whole lot more room to improve, right? So this is actually what the sales resistant curve look like. Okay, so from a time and call sequence opportunity, the one call close is somebody who comes into your world and briefly hangs out and all of a sudden found something that they wanted and go. And we got so excited about that we started going, yes, I want everybody to buy on the first time. So we set up everything in our business designed to support the person who walks through the door. Right when they come in the door, we sell them their thing, and then we move on to the next person who walks in the door. Instead of allowing people to browse, allowing people to shop, allowing people to engage, allowing people to find out what we do. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So the piece that we call hold on, I had a plan for this, so I'm gonna do this the right way so it looks good. So the downside is the one call close. The upside is the slow moving arc called the 3-step sales advantage that we are gonna dive into today. And this is your sales resistance curve. We wanna keep you away from living here and crashing and burning, right? One call close is something that moves you. It's like a shooting star, comes out quick, hot and heavy, and then it burns just as fast. It dissipates and is gone, and we don't want that. All right. There's a couple of things we always talk about: the time, touch, and incentive. What we have seen since COVID, in the post-COVID era, we're now 5 years into this thing, and people just need more time, more touch, and more incentive. And every year, it just gets more so. There's such a lack of trust in the marketplace, and you might be experiencing it, where people need to see you more. They need to make sure that you say this. Are you actually going to be here to deliver this? Are you who you say you are? I need evidence. I want to see this in the long haul. And the longer they're in your world, there's a direct correlation to the longer that you're in your world, the more they get to trust you, the more they get to see what you're about, what you're like, and then they start buying more naturally and readily. So you need to start designing your world in such a way that happens. Now, the key here is that time sequence can happen in 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 years. It doesn't have to be over time. Sometimes it's just a difference between, do I buy from you right now, this minute, as soon as I saw you on this webinar, or do I buy from you tomorrow after I've had a chance to have a conversation and do a little due diligence, right? So that curve doesn't always have to be months and years. Sometimes if it's played well, it can be hours, right? At least before your first level offer. And that's where a lot of people miss. We think we have to hit the home run enchilada on everything, and that doesn't always have to be. Okay, so that's the game we're playing today. I just want to dive into this concept and help you. I'm selling you on this perspective that this is something you need to be thinking about in your business, right? So we want you to see is that call number one is the breakdown. This is 3 steps in this process that we are going to dive into. And step number 1 is the breakdown. That is call number 1. Okay, call number 1 has a very specific purpose, and that is to clarify the problem, qualify the buyer, and get commitment to the solution. Clarify the problem, qualify the buyer, get commitment to the solution. That is the objective of call number 1. Okay, write this in the chat. Call number 1 mission is not to close the sale. You might close the sale in call number 1. Let's say 10% of the time, right? Maybe less. And that's great. Welcome it, take it, do your work. Make that happen. But that's not your objective. Your objective is to clarify the problem, is to qualify the buyer, and is to then set up a commitment for them to wanting to get the outcome. Do you understand? Not the commitment to buying your product, a commitment to getting an outcome. Your job is to elicit from them, what are the things that make this up? How do you, in a conversation, and that conversation can be in chat, it can be on a phone call, it can be this right here. We're qualifying right now. We're having a step 1 breakdown conversation with you right now. Okay, so clarifying, qualifying, and commit. That's the objective. All right, does that make sense? Are we on the same page? You know, tell me what you're taking from that. Let me see your takeaway in the chat, because this is important. I want you to see it. All right. Where do you feel like and just like right now, I can end this webinar today. I can say this masterclass is over. Is this distinction right here valuable? Right? Do you see what right off the front, right off the gates, that you might be a little bit overzealous? Are you coming on like an excited puppy dog that's like so glad that they're home, they're here? Oh my God, you're here! I'm just thrilled. I want to jump all over you. I want to lick your face. I want to give you everything I got because I just want to help you. You're here, right? And then we start. You want to buy my stuff? Here, you want this? You want that? It's like, no, I just want to relax. I just got here. Let me take a look around. Let me be really clear. And then I want to be certain I'm in the right place. So everything we're doing is designed to affirm the decision they made to come into your world in the first place. Make sense? All right. So once we have that in call 1, all right, then the objective is to get them to a place where they're ready for step 2 in the 3-step sales advantage. All right. So 1 call close spikes tension and burns trust. The 3-step sales advantage builds trust, the kind of trust that makes buying from you feel inevitable. Do you want to have massive, powerful closing skills, or do you want to make sure that people can feel like they will inevitably want to buy from you? That is the game that we're playing. Right? And that's the game that we want to make sure you're aware of. Okay, because most people think, oh, we go straight from the step 1 right into the close. Let me get you the closing call. And this is where most people think it would work. Do you think this is what happens? We go from call 1 straight to call 2 and close? You know there's something here. There's a trick answer. So you're freaking out. Better not say yes, because Jim's going to say, no, you're wrong. Right? But this is what most people do. This is how our processes work. We go step 1 straight to step 2. And the problem is you then start, this is, what we call an uncontrolled process, right? You get people who don't book. Hey, let's book this second call. Or you start chasing them. They ghost you. They tell you they're going to pay. They're ready to pay. They want to pay. And then you never hear from them. They don't. They have all kinds of reasons and excuses, and they're off in the mist and off in the ether. Because one of the most important parts of the 3-step sales advantage is step 2, which is controlling the process, right? This is what it should look like. You need to control the journey and the distance between the 2 points. Everything that happens between call 1 and call 2 must be controlled by you. You can say, hey, okay, we're going to set up this conversation. Now that you're qualified, I know that you're committed. I know you're clear on what you want. I know you're qualified as a potential buyer for me, and you're committed to solving this problem. Great. I'll see you next Thursday. And then they don't show up. And you don't know why. And it's because you're missing several pillars along the way here. There are steps and things you need to be doing to ensure that you are controlling the steps of this journey. Because guess what? They're going to do something. Why not do something that you have orchestrated? Why not give them things to do that will help you help them navigate this journey more effectively? Make sense? So I'll give you just a couple of what these pillars could be. There's a lot of things that can be in here, right? It's recapping the message, right? What did they come here for? And do they get affirmation? You had a great conversation with them, and then are you sending them something that says, yes, this was the message. This is what we talked about. This is what we agreed upon. This is what's going on, right? Maybe a video summary of what is happening. We do a lot of that. A testimonial or a case study. Hey, it was great talking to you. Remind me of this client that we've worked with recently named Brad Blazer and what they do. You remind me of Melinda and one of our rock star clients, and here's what she's doing. She sounds so much like the journey that you're on, right? And then a preview document. Hey, here's an outline of some of our solutions and what we do that we'll be able to talk about when we meet on Thursday, right? So because you're planting the seeds and you are layering and stacking components of commitment and expectation. You're starting to tell them what this is going to be like. Maybe you give them some things to do along the way so that they show up more prepared and more qualified for the conversation that you're going to have. So you can pre-frame expectations. That makes sense? All right. Again, whether that journey is a 6-year journey, 6 months, 6 days, or 6 hours, you still are responsible for the connecting the dots between those 2 points. And it reminds me of a former client of ours who's a good friend and colleague with Linked Selling, Josh Turner and Ben Niffen. And we worked with them on some launches, and they now work exclusively with commercial companies. They have a big client right now that installs and sells fans for like Amazon warehouses. And so as you can imagine, it's a big sale and it's a long sales cycle. So we were talking, he was asking for, how do I make this sales cycle shorter? How do we make sure that it doesn't take me 6 months every time we get somebody into this process? And so we broke it down and said, okay, if it's going to take 6 months, then how about we set up a process where we navigate, we control, curate, and then direct that 6 months instead of them just randomly taking 6 months. What are the things we want them to do? What are the things they need to know about this process, about themselves, about us, and how do we set them on a path of doing the things that we would have them do anyway if they said yes, and start getting them on that journey. So literally now they're curating a 90-day process, then followed up by another tap in. They jump in and they evaluate what they're doing. So now this company has got totally familiar with them. And now if they're going to do this, they're either going to execute this plan on their own, or they're absolutely going to hire them because you've helped them get to this place in the first place. And that could be free. It can be paid. We can dive deeper into that on another session. But what I want you to be aware, and this is a skill set that you have to employ. This is a strategy that you have to make happen. And it's wholly up to you. You're the one in control of all of this. Do you believe that they will do what you say? If you lay it out clearly and come from the position of authority and expertise and say, this is what happens. Here's what needs to happen in order for us to be able to get the outcome. Because remember, they are committed, clear, right? They have expectation, commitment. Their commitment is what? To the outcome, not to your product. So in order for you to achieve this outcome, here's the things you need to have. Here's the standards of excellence that need to be in place. Here's all the systems and frameworks that need to be in place. Here's our template and our blueprint. And you could sell it, you could give it, whatever. We'll talk through more of the details in that in another session. But when you do that, they're going to likely take action on it because you're the expert. They came here for a reason and you gave them something to do while they're on that journey. So the most important thing that you have just done in this process is you've connected the dots between the 2 points. All right. So I want to do a quick little exercise for you. We're going to give this to you as a just do this on your own. Okay, but I want you to think about this. So what questions will go in that journey? What things can you get them to be thinking about? What do you want them exploring and examining, right? We talk about yes questions, and where I came up with these was from networking. We work a lot of events. From networking, we work a lot of events, and when we go to events, I like to win. I like to win wherever we go, especially Cindy. You think I like to win. She likes to win everything. And so when I go to an event, I want to win. I want to come out with best opportunities. I want to come out with speaking gigs. I want to come out with potential clients, potential partners, and people who want to work for our company. But I do this intentionally. I make sure I know what I'm going to ask, what I'm looking for, and how to go. So I come up with a series of yes questions. And this is what you can do for a networking environment, but also for this journey that you're putting people on, right? What are the 3 questions that you can ask that will help people? If they answer them yes in the affirmative, they are potentially qualified for what you need them to do. It's not in depth, but it's gonna eliminate people who not. If they say no, they're not somebody you need to be working with. Okay? Are you currently looking for ways to achieve X? Are you committed to improving X? Are you open to exploring how X can help you? Have you been struggling with X? Would improving X significantly impact your business or your life or your marriage or your whatever? Right? Just those questions alone. If you make those, you answer. I'm not going to answer those for you right now. You come up with, that's your homework to do. But when you start putting that in place, that's going to give you insight as to what you can put in that sequence from point 1 to point 2, from point A to point B. You control what's in the middle there. And it just came clear to me that I'm not sharing my screen. So let me do that right now. Okay, there we go. That's what I was showing. That's what I was reading off of, as if you could read it. So those are the questions. Take a screenshot of it. I'll duck my head out the way. You can do that and go, but make sure you grab that. All right. So, and then we will share this resource with you as well, so that we have that going. All right. So I want to keep moving here in the interest of time. So that's the controlled journey versus the uncontrolled journey. And again, remembering what's there. Now, when you control that journey and they arrive at step 3 in the process, right? Step 3 of the 3-step sales advantage, what happens here is we convert and collect, right? So call number 2 is the decision. Call number 2 is step number 3, right? It's the decision call. And here you have to, again, you moved them from point 1 point 2, A to B, and you gave them the steps in the sequence to get them here. Now, when they show up here, it is your responsibility always to remember and remind people why they're here. Okay, so this is what's going on. Whether it's you setting your own conversations, somebody else setting your own conversations for you, you have to remind them, hey, when we spoke last week, or when we spoke yesterday, it was discussed that here was your problem and here was your commitment and what you want to do to solve it, right? And you are a good fit because the kind of clients we work with are XYZ. You're giving them an identity to step into. We work with people who are sold out to winning this. They're no longer willing to tolerate this. And they understand that it's going to be a crunchy process as they get moving, but that it's going to move. It's going to be a temporary crunchy process because then they're going to start getting massive lift in their company and you're ready to roll, right? And then you're going to be able to dive into the offer, right? And take away, risk reversal. We'll talk about results and minimize the risk so that no matter what, they see the results are so big, it's worth whatever risk they got to take, whatever struggle that they have to step into. Then, of course, taking credit card info, getting your payments, and clarifying next steps, right? Always your responsibility to clarify next steps. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take your credit card. We're going to get this involved, your payment. We're going to get you into the community, initiate you as a member. And then you're going to get a welcome email and you're going to get a phone call from Christina and our team welcoming you in and walking you through the membership hub and what that looks like. Then we're going to have calls starting on Wednesday. You want to get you involved right now so you can get on the first call that starts next week, right? You're going to talk them through what it's going to look like. You're going to see what the excitement's about when we get on the calls. Make sure that you show up ready to share wins because we always want to share wins. It's a vital part of the juice and that energy that we create and what we teach people to do in making sales because we want you stacking wins all the time, right? So whatever it is, is your job to initiate them into the community, into your world, and make sure you're future pacing them as to what is going to occur. You're going to get 2 emails. Sometimes you guys ever sign up for something, get like 4 emails in one day? Right? You got a receipt, you got a welcome email, then you got to sign up for your membership hub email, then you got a confirmation, all this stuff. You know when that's not a problem? When you told me it's coming. When you just sign somebody up and then they get bombarded with all of this stuff, which we've done at times, we've forgotten to mention that and be like, what is this? Oh my God, right? If you just tell them this is what's going to happen, they go, oh yeah, here's the 5 emails he said were coming. No problem. But then I tell them to do them. Just set these up here, put those off here, set up your folder so that everything that comes from us is here. Instead of us bombarding your inbox, you check our folder every other day or once a week or whatever. That you train people on how to behave and what to do in your world. Does that make sense? Right? Then you win. Then everybody's winning all the time because they get what they want and everything works. Okay. So that's the 3 steps. The 3 steps. Right? Type in the chat on your 3 steps. What do you see in there? Okay. What is step number 1? Right? Anybody remember? You got it in? Okay. Step number 1 is call one. Right? It's qualification call. Right? It is to get qualification. It is to qualify the buyer. Right? It is to get commitment to solution of the problem. Right? And it is to get clarity on what the problem is. Because as soon as inclusion to the problem, which is the outcome. So the commitment to the outcome, clarify the problem. What's the situation that they are in? And then step 2 is the journey, connecting the dots between the 2 points, right? That's call 1 there, step 2. And then we want to get them to a place where, remember, it's super important to control it. It's easy to have a journey, but if it's not a controlled journey, then you are hoping at best that they're going to end up where you want them. If you need to get them to step 2, it is your job to control that journey in every way imaginable. Even if it means paying more, paying somebody to call them, sending something direct, sending something hard mail, do whatever is necessary to make sure you control that journey. The more of that journey you control, the better likelihood you have of them showing up, and not just showing up, but actually showing up expecting something great to happen because you plant those seeds. Okay. And then again, once you get them there, it's remind, reconfirm, reveal, reassure, and then receive money, receive funds, receive opportunity. Okay. So what I want to ask you here right now is, which one of these are the biggest problem you're dealing with? Right? Are you having this? Nobody's booking call 2, right? Nobody's booking the second call. You're sending links and hoping that they're booking. Or are they ghosting you between calls? Are they not doing any of the things you're asking them to do? Or are you not asking them to do anything, so they're not taking any actions at all? And then people who are like, yes, I'm totally excited about this. We're going to meet next week. I'm going to get some funds available. Because when you're qualifying the buyer, you're qualifying their interest, their readiness, their ability to invest in something, their desire to solve the problem. You're testing them to see, is us having a conversation about your problem and about you potentially coming into our world as a client, as a customer, as a patient, as a whatever. You do realize there's going to be an investment. And is there somebody else that needs to make this decision with you? Should they be on that call with us too? Right? You're qualifying the opportunity. And in that moment, you're going to get a lot of people say, yeah, totally, I'm down. I'm ready to make an investment. Until they find out the investment is $10,000 and all of a sudden their problem doesn't matter anymore. Right? Because you didn't do all of the other pieces that help them understand why you're so good at what you do, why they need to solve this problem, what's the cost of inaction, all of those things that you're going to bake into the process by connecting the dots between the 2 points. Right? So which one is the most closest to your experience? Which one of these things are you? Oh, what just happened? I do not know. There we go. All right. I went into tablet mode, whatever that is. I didn't know my computer had a tablet mode, but you just experienced it, or at least I did. So that's what everybody experiences is one of these things, right? And what I want you to recognize is that when that happens, don't I should say, fight the urge to go down the rabbit hole of they didn't book the call. Here we go again. Oh man, I knew it was too good to be true. This sucks. They're not taking action. Nobody books the second call, or people don't show up. How come they're always ghosting? She said she was going to pay. I sent her the link. Why didn't she pay? What is going on? Right? Because all of this stuff makes us feel inadequate, makes us feel less than, makes us feel like we don't matter, makes us feel like second guessing everything. Who has wanted to throw in the towel just this year alone on your business? Just say, this is the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm getting out of here, right? Until you realize you got to go get a job and you're like, okay, I can't do that, right? But that's the reality. Business is the crazy merry-go-round hamster wheel of ridiculousness that we are all on. And great day followed by all kinds of crazy madness, followed by another great day or a great moment or a great whatever, right? But we have to make sure that we're not allowing that to go. And so what I wanted to do is with that is if that is something you're experiencing at any level, then I want to invite you to take a little ride with us and come to our strategic close workshop. And it is solely focused on the 3-step sales advantage that we will help you build this framework out. So you will have, this is one of the many systems we have in our business that we are trying to part into you one at a time. And this is a game changer. So what we'll have over a couple of hours is we're going to break down your framework, help you get it implemented, and coach you on the right strategy, the right content pieces, what to put into those connection points between conversation 1 and 2. Make sure that your framework for conversation 1 is dialed in, that your journey for the connection points from step 1 to 2 are curated and controlled, and then that you have step 3 dialed in so you know exactly what's going to happen on that call. Because the goal here, guys, is that people are buying from you simply because they are feeling inspired to do it, not because you become a master closer. I don't need you to become a master closer. I don't even want you to. I just want you to be at a place where it is so clear and so evident that you have the cure for what ails them that they say, yes, I want step 2. I need your solution. I need to be there because you get this. You understand me. You know what I need and you got the cure for what ails me. So we're going to drop a link in the chat here, and anybody want to guess at what we're going to ask you for to register for this workshop, right? We are inviting you to show up as our guest. Just want you there. We want to get you there. This is a complimentary workshop. We are putting it out. We typically do these at 97 or 197 for our workshops, and you guys are all invited to show up and put the work in. We want to design this. We want to get it in play. We want to start getting case studies, testimonials. We see this happening all over the place. I want you to start seeing it. I want you to see, man, these guys are good at what they do. And if they can fix this, imagine what else they can fix, right? So that you want to be taking more steps in our direction. And so you can show up with us at the Strategic Close Workshop on the 23rd of April from 9 a.m. to 11 Pacific time. And let's roll. Let's build out your 3-step strategic sales advantage process, connect the dots, and help you win by implementing one powerful system that will deliver a massive ROI for you. So do you see how this will help you win more deals? Do you see how this will help you take better advantage, leverage your opportunities more strategically, get more close rates, more people to show up, more of the right people to show up, more of the right people to show up with the right expectations so they want to do what is you offer instead of them showing up trying to resist being sold, right? That's a crappy reality that we've all experienced, and I'm not having it, and I don't want it for you. Okay, so that is the strategic sales, the 3-step advantage that with the missing ingredient that most people are just absolutely not even dialed into. And you got it for free. So any questions, feel free. If you're in the chat, type in the chat. We're streaming on multiple locations. So type in the chat. We'll get to your questions. If I don't see it live, if the team can't bring it to me here, we will get into the chat wherever you are, whether you're on LinkedIn, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, or on TikTok. With our first time streaming on TikTok. And so we will answer all those questions. And if you want to be able to be in here live, then, make sure you're reaching out to us and be part of our community, and we'll make sure that you can get here. So any questions, raise your hand, and happy to work through any of your scenarios that you need.
So in the chat, I think our next workshop is going to be don't be a happy puppy in your sales conversations. That's because that's what everybody's saying in the chat. I'm the happy puppy. I'm like just telling them everything and dancing around and licking them and wagging my tail. So that's going to be our next workshop title. Don't be a happy puppy. And I think that is definitely one. And then the other one was step 1, right? Just how do you pace yourself set those expectations that feel like you're going to lose them. You know, I think that's a big part of it. We feel like we're going to lose them. If I don't make the sale, they're going to go somewhere else.
So yeah, and I see Jacob is, right now he has what we've shared about these steps integrated, and from what he's, I know he's worked with some other sales trainers. The only question I would ask is that, are you getting the results you want from it? Are all the right people showing up? Are they showing up expecting and ready to buy, or are they just showing up, right? And are they the right people? So that's where we can elevate these. You already have the steps in place. That's fantastic. How do we optimize these so that this is a world-class journey that you are putting together instead of just steps in a sequence? Because something we've recognized with some other clients that we're working with is, two-step sales process, which is what got the emphasis of this training, because we're literally dealing with this right now in some campaigns, is that most people are busy setting appointments instead of setting up a sale. Huge difference. Most people are very busy setting up appointments, and then they show up on the appointment, and it's just an appointment. And now
Yeah,
you
I'm
have to start
more
everything over again.
tire kickers than some people are interested, and also something that happened for me is where we really want to drive towards one solution. And the first things I'm figuring out is, do I want to be talking to this lead about consulting, or are they interested in our version of high level? Or are they interested in search services, and moving that so that I'm actually really going towards and pursuing, what is your problem? This is how we can solve your problem quickly enough. And then just the thing is, when you give people too many ideas, that creates indecision. And so it's part of it's navigating that process, and maybe something's coming up now is just a little bit more pre-campaign, pre-meeting, automations, so that it's hey, we could be talking about X, Y, or Z. What is going to make the biggest difference to you? So that way I can start into the conversation with what's going to make the biggest difference to them. Because consulting's the best thing they could get from me, but a lot of people want that quick win, that presenting pain. And so we start talking about the search stuff, which is good,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the opportunity in that is I recommend everybody have a two-step sales process. It doesn't have to necessarily be a setter closer, a triage closer situation. You can use something like this as a triage opportunity, which we do. Like one of the client that sparked this whole conversation that we're having, we have a webinar this evening, and this webinar that they're going to do is the set. So then it goes straight to appointment. And so the setters aren't reaching out to people after the webinar, it's the salespeople, and they're booking calls and they're moving to an opportunity. That can be done live. This stuff can be done. You can do one of these on a recorded training. You can have a team member do this stuff. There's a million ways to get it done, but you need to have a way to qualify people that is not just your standard fill out this form, right? You have to start being more creative and ingenuity with people, and it's worth it to have somebody on the front end qualifying buyers versus setting appointments. And usually our funnel is setting an appointment, or our setters are setting an appointment, or we are setting an appointment, and that's the wrong approach altogether. Because setting an appointment is like a customer service function. Qualifying buyers is a sales function.
And I think I've been having my friend who's been doing some setting do too much qualifying for me. He's a better salesman. He's a good salesman.
But I would say, I don't know the circumstances there, but we're huge proponents of closers doing setting. Because if you don't set the call right, you ain't getting the close.
Yeah.
We need setters. We need setters to have a closer mentality, not a customer service mentality. And too many times we see setters are like admin function. It's like, no, God, that is so wrong. They need to be closers, because the closer knows who they want to talk to, and they know how to qualify the opportunity so that it's a right opportunity for them and that it moves the needle forward. But then there's also this delicate dance of most closers will be from the perspective of, I need to disqualify this person, because the more people I can disqualify, I talk to all the qualified people. And that's okay, except my perspective is, how do I elevate the opportunity instead of disqualify the opportunity? So I trust that because you opted in, because you registered, because you showed up here and you took the time to watch this webinar or to get on the call, that you're actually looking for something. So when somebody tells us, oh yeah, these guys are just tire kickers. No, they kicked you because you're a tire. I'm not a freaking tire. They ain't showing up and kicking me. I'm going to make sure they know why they're here, what's the purpose of this? What is the outcome they're committed to? How bad is this problem? How long have they had it? What do they want to do with it? What is it costing them? And are ready to do something about it. Are they ready to move? Have they thought about how much time, effort, and money and resources they want to put into this solution? And are they ready to take action? Is there a partner involved? How bad do you want this? Then we set up the qualification call. That's somebody who's going to buy something. Right? Most people aren't doing that. They're like, oh, we're so glad you're here today. Right? So if we elevate the opportunity, we remind them of the commitment they made to wanting to solve the problem, which is why they came to you in the first place. So we just might need to add more steps in that process, because if the only thing they got to this point was an assessment, well, that's great. What are the other 7 things they need to see before they talk to you? Make sure they're seeing it. And sometimes an automated system is just not enough, because I get automations all the time and I ignore 99.999% of them. But when somebody sends me something to me directly, I will consume it. And I'm looking at it, right? So just little, and a lot of people do this. They'll use one email to register for the opt-in, the real email when they're actually ready to do something serious, right? Everything I opt into is as JP. I put JP. That way, if I get an email to JP, I know these people do not know me. If it says Jim, that's because I've given them my name and they know me, and I'm probably either a client or a subscriber or something else, right? So I'm paying attention. And so I want to make sure of that. But everybody else has their own little tricks. And your mission is to get them to give you their real name, their real identity, so they can consume whatever they need to. And the more personal you make it, you can send it out automated, that's cool, but I highly recommend that you also add a personal touch to it, because that's the stuff they're going to take serious. They might not even open up your automations, but they'll open up a text message from you. They'll open up a personal email from you that didn't come as a broadcast or as a automated drip. So think about those things. And so the workshop is on the 23rd. So there'll be a few things that we will be doing to help you be ready for that next step. So you can see a little bit of journey preparation, and then show up on the 23rd. And the whole mission is to you walk away with your 3 steps dialed in. And let's make sure you have that already locked and loaded and ready to go. And you can start putting people on a better path right away, which you should already start being able to do after today, just by having the awareness of it. Now we'll just help you put some structure to it. All right, any other questions? Clarity, ahas, action items? All right, Linda.
Is doing something like a webinar or a masterclass or a workshop, that is pre-qualifying and helping to identify people? Is that before call 1, or is that part of, could that be call 1? I mean,
Sure.
in what
Yes
you're
to
talking
all
about.
of it. This
Okay.
could absolutely. It's all about how the main thing is what's the intention you're putting behind it, so you make sure that those elements are in play, right? So technically there could be pre-activity before the webinar, and then and then the webinar there could be pre-activity from the webinar to a phone call, right? But if you can use a webinar or a masterclass or workshop as a triage setting, as the appointment set, then again, what are all the things that they need to know to elicit clarity about the problem, commitment to wanting to solve it, right, and readiness to do something about it, right? So that way, so long as all of those are in play, so you don't just show up and teach your thing, but you're teaching in a manner that's going to elicit those pain points, and that clarity, then you now know that they're ready. And some people will just show up and they're just like, nope, I don't need all of that, but I love the information. And then others can be like, this is perfect, I need to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also use it in the middle. That's why when we work with our clients, we want them doing something every week, something every month, something every quarter. So after you finish a call 1, if there is, there's things you will be automated, but then, hey, I'm doing this thing this Wednesday. Come, I'll answer questions. You can meet our community. Like, it's an opportunity for another of that time and touch that they need with you to feel confident in their decision. So it's part of all of it.
Yeah, and if
you just repurpose it over and over and keep sending.
We will drop the link to register in the chat. Make sure you reach out if you want to get your your strategic close process in place, get this thing dialed and build, have it done in 2 hours, then come to the workshop. You have no excuses not to. We ain't charging you for it. So show up.
Which made Jim really mad last night.
Yeah, I was ready to make an offer today. I'm not making an offer today. She's like, no, we're giving you for free. I'm like, well, what? I was mad. It's all good.
Tasha, how do you say? Is it Tasha? Is it how do you say
Tasha
your-
Faye.
Tasha
Tasha
Faye. Nice to see you. Yeah, awesome.
She's Jake's other half.
Okay,
Better half,
okay.
as they say.
Welcome.
All right. So is this helpful? You guys implement this? Are you going to take action on this? No reason why you wouldn't. Even if you already are down this path, like Jake was talking about, he's already got some of this in place. Now it's just how to elevate this and optimize this better. Just measure the results. If everybody is showing up that you want to talk to and they're all buying, then you don't need this. And you probably wouldn't be on this training anyway because you'd be busy serving clients left and right, right? So it's all just how do we do it better? And in today's world, you have to, everything you can do to overcome a trust recession. Because that's what this, they just need more trust. They need to be affirmed. Every single touch point needs to affirm for them that they made the right decision to come here in the first place. The more you do that, we do that with the best of our intention. We may not always hit the mark, but we do our very best to make sure that anytime you trade any time for time with us, that you walk away going, heck yeah, I won. I want you to always feel like you got the better end of the deal. We want you to feel like this was the right decision you made. All right, so we're gonna wrap. And definitely in the chat, wherever you're at, any questions you have, type in. We'll get in there. We'll make sure that no questions are left unturned and unsupported. And then we'll get your registration links as well to get you to the workshop. All right. Thanks for the time, the attention, and go make magic happen. And let's make sure you control the journey.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Cindy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Love hanging out with you guys.